Think it would be don't get married. Run, bitch. Run fast. Stupid. That was dumb. We don't need to get married. Women in 2026, we don't need to get married. We can make money. And I feel for the propaganda. I'm not gonna lie. Desiring marriage will be forever the biggest scam I ever fell for in my entire life. Okay? I would have still had my baby, but I wouldn't have got married. I would have just kept it at that. I would have been a baby mama. I would have gladly signed up to be a baby mama. Thinking there's no benefits. There's no benefits. Second thing,
So I wonder, like, is she still married right now, saying all these things? Because if I were her husband, she would definitely be single at that point. She's saying there are no benefits to marriage. That sounds like someone that might not be married anymore. But let's keep watching.
myself, don't quit your job, you dumbass. Dare I say, you will not know who you're married to until you become financially dependent on them. That's when you'll really see. Okay?
Now, to be fair about that point, right, in this economy where everything is like spiraling out of control in terms of prices, I don't even know why any woman that cares about her husband would want to be a stay at home wife. Even if he asks you to do it, I think you should be like, oh no, honey, like, like I think things are very expensive. Let me help out around the house. Now, unless the guy is like Big Daddy, like just balling, then okay. But if it's just like a regular guy making regular money, then why are you a stay at home wife? Even if his ego might be like, I want to have a stay at home wife. Sir, you can't afford it. Not a lot of people can afford to have a stay at home wife. And so that's when you start to see frustration kicking in, tempers start to flare because the bills are starting to pile in and he can't keep up. Because really, this economy is not an economy for just one income, it's an economy for dual incomes. And that's just how it is. So just to push back on that point a little bit, I agree with her. You shouldn't quit your job just because you're married. You should keep working. You should have your money, and he should have his money, and then you guys should have a joint fund as well.
Stupid. Stupid. And people try to warn me like, oh, you sure? You sure? My baby was in a NICU for 26 days. I got married while my baby was in the NICU. He knew what he was doing. He knew I was gonna be out of there. I wasn't even in a mental space to get married. Stupid. Divorce is so expensive. It's so expensive. By the grace of God, I was able to get a job right out of this marriage after not working for 5 years. That was nothing but God. That's how I knew God was on my side. That was crazy. Will I say?
Ah, there it is. So she did get a divorce. Okay, so that's why she can talk like this. It's because yeah, makes sense now.
Some of y'all been waiting for this video longer than others, but here it is. The whole story on how my sugar daddy gave me cancer. Okay,
So before we even start, you can see that we're off to a rough start. She has a sugar daddy. So whatever that means.
off of work, 11 o'clock. My mom had dropped me off some food. I tore my food up, called her, told her it was delicious, and I'm about to get in the bathtub. Get in the bathtub, baby can't get out. I can't move. End up calling my mom back. You and the ambulance, be on your way. I'm in crippling pain. I can't move, and I really feel like I'm about to pass out. A few minutes later, my mom gets to my house. Ambulance gets to my house. Ambulance asks me, what's your pain level? I'm like, a 10. Severe pain, 10. He's like, okay, I gotta give you fentanyl. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't even take medicine. Aspirins, I just thug through it. There wasn't no thugging through this one. I had to get the fentanyl. He gave it to me. Get to the hospital. Hospital ends up taking my urine. And that's when they found out I'm indeed pregnant. Wasn't making sense to me. I was not having sex. I don't care who don't believe me. I was not having sex. I was the only person that I had had sex with in the last year and a half to 2 years. So I'm not thinking, the last thing I'm thinking is I'm pregnant. I ain't had a sign of pregnancy, no throwing up, no nothing. I have a son. I know what comes with it. My body didn't tell me nothing about me being pregnant. This came out of the clear blue. She ends up telling me a little bit later that they're going to do a ultrasound. Well, my bladder had filled up again. Real bad pain. Real bad pain. Couldn't move. Couldn't go to the bathroom. She ends up giving me Dilaudid. If you're in the medical field or know anything about some medicine, fentanyl, Dilaudid, these are heavy hitter medications. Heavy. The Dilaudid ends up helping me enough to the point where I was able to go to the bathroom, dump my bladder. The girl comes in, does the ultrasound. She does the one on my belly, nothing there. So she does a vaginal one. They found what they were looking for. There was a baby, but it was in my tube. And it was about 12 weeks, which sounds crazy to me, right? Sound crazy to them too. They end up telling me, we're going to take you down for surgery right now. So I'm like, whoa, this night is going downhill fast, okay? Get to surgery, wake up, I'm in the ICU. I had lost 4 liters of blood and had to get a blood transfusion during the surgery. When my doctor comes in, she tells me that not only was it a tubal pregnancy, but it was a molar pregnancy. Both pregnancies are known to happen, but both of them happening at one time was very, very rare. The molar pregnancy is basically there's a baby with no DNA makeup, basically, but it's full of cancer cells. Listen here, because this is when it all goes downhill. She tells me that they removed it, everything will be fine. The only thing they need from me is to heal up, because I was tore up, physically tore up. I was in a lot of pain. She told me the only thing they needed me to do was to come once a week to get blood drawn in the lab. Not to have sex, because the next my uterine wall is very thin.
Oh yeah, like definitely don't have any more sex, right? Like, because literally you have like a 12-week-old baby in your tubes. I think sex should be the last thing on her mind at this point. All right, so she's trying to say that her husband gave her cancer because she wound up pregnant with a molar pregnancy. What is a molar pregnancy? So right here. A molar pregnancy is a rare, non-cancerous complication of conception where an egg and sperm join incorrectly. Instead of a healthy placenta and baby, abnormal tissue grows in the uterus, often looking like a cluster of grapes. It is also called a hydatidiform mole and requires medical treatment. So they're talking about an egg, which is, I guess, from the woman, and sperm, which is from the man. So it's not clear to me how she's blaming her husband or her ex-husband for doing that. But hey, do you, boo-boo?